Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So lovely to have all of you back again. Really excited to start today's expert session. Today we're going to have Danu, who I'm sure is no mystery to you all. You'll already probably know him. He is a face and name that needs no introduction. A media mogul that has traversed through print, media, television, and the big screen. And he's currently the head of High TV. Now, just with regards to a few things that may have happened yesterday with regards to translations, we have actually sorted that out. We have spoken to the translators and we have told them to pay extra attention to what may be said, as well as we have advised any experts to talk much slower so that they are able to capture any and all points that are brought across. Are there any questions from any one of you moving forward in how maybe you'd want to ask questions? I'd like to introduce you to the FPSL team. We have Manoj, our senior program manager, as well as Ranika, who will be joining us to steer this fellowship program currently. And we have obviously me, I'm project officer for this project. I'm Zainab Hassan. And we have Sonali also be joining us soon, as well as
විදියට කටයුතු කරන සොනාලිත් අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙනවා ඒ වගේම තව නියෝජිත RFS.
Would you like to say a few words with regards to how we are going to start this program? Let's get a bit comfortable with each other, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Zainab. I thought that we have discussed yesterday also, like how we are going to move forward with this fellowship program. I guess this most of the participants, they have some kind of understanding about the program. Even yesterday, after the session, I got so many messages from the community people, my friends, like asking about the program, that what's happened. So then I thought like give small clarification to you all about like how we are going to like move forward with this project. So like first thing is you have to make sure that everyone, these 40 fellows, everyone, you should participate to the training program in all 5 days. Then your fully participation is essential. You to submit your concept note after the training program, so that after we finish training program on 30th, then so we are going to give you all 2 weeks timeline to prepare your concept note. Then you have to come up with a 6-month project plan, which means that maybe that you could be a YouTuber, you could be a social media person that who do campaigns, maybe a short filmmaker like that, maybe an influencer, maybe a blogger. Then that you know that what is the skill you have within the media field. Then like highlighting that you have to submit your own proposal. So we are going to give you all 2 weeks. Then based on the 40 concept notes, then we have selected panel of judge. So that I need to tell this because Zainab, myself, Shriyal, Ranaka, Sonalika,
இன்னும் பலர் இருக்கின்றார்கள். நாங்கள் எல்லோரும் அதன் பாகமாக இருக்கவில்லை. உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் தெரியும், அந்த சன சமூகத்தை ஜெயித்த பலர் இருக்கிறார்கள். நாங்கள் ஆட்களை எடுக்கும் பொழுது அங்கே பாகுபாடு காட்டுறது என்று நினைப்பார்கள். எந்த நிகழ்ச்சி திட்டத்திலும்
all also who are the panelists. Then we are going to take the very expert senior panelists from the this training resource pool. Then only we select 20 fellows. The reason I told them because like I got so many messages yesterday asking about like how this program is going on. Welcome and thank you very much for joining with us. Then like as Zainab said, we have Danu here. I think that most of you know Danu, and I think that I can guarantee within these 2 hours, I think that you don't feel sleep because when Danu talking, I can guarantee that. So like hope you all enjoy with this session, and I'm really humbling. Even yesterday, humbly request you like ask questions and like get more clarification result. Then that you can get more clarification, more engagement within this fellowship training program. Thank you very much. And like Zainab, you can invite Danu to
Thank you
continue.
so much, Manoj. Yes, Manoj did bring about a few points that we did see yesterday. I was really happy to see all fellows that were very involved in the dialogue. And like he said, he did outline what was going to happen the next prior 6 months, how once you all submit your proposals,
நீங்கள் எப்பொழுது உங்களுடைய முன்மொழிவுகளை
ඉන්නේ ඔබ ප්‍රොපෝසල්ස් බාර දෙනවා. ඒ තුලින් ඔබට ලක්ෂ 3ක මුදල ලබා ගන්න කොහොමද ඒ කටයුත්ත සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ කියන එක
created so that we can prepare you for those 6 months. And we want to tap into experts like Danu, who've had experience since he entered the media stage when he was at the tender age of 16. So people like this, like illustrious, amazing minds that we can pick apart now. I mean, we have the opportunity to do so. So I beg you, please use this time, glean everything from Danu, because Danu is a true solid figure in our community and in the media sphere and in Sri Lanka. So please go ahead, pick him apart. I am so excited. Danu, over to you. We're excited for our session with you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and it's definitely a pleasure and honor to be a part of this. I hope everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, can hear you.
Oh, superb. All right. All right. So this session will be more interesting if you will engage with me in conversation and ask me questions that I can answer. It's more interesting that way than actually me talking. If that's okay by everyone, that will be more interesting. I'm also sorry, I have 5 dogs in my house and they will occasionally bark because of the fact that it's raining and and 2 of my dogs are scared of the rain. So please bear with me on that. Already one is here. Okay, so to start things off, let me just give you a overall viewpoint of what media is. Media is very different to what it was when I started to what it is today. Media has grown to be such a strong and an independent medium. What I mean about an independent medium is the fact that when I got into media, we relied on different sources to give us a platform to speak out, to make an opinion, or even to have a voice. But over the years, how technology has moved and the way it has moved so strong that it has become a voice of its own. So that we actually now find a way of doing media in our own ways and means without depending on other platforms or other channels or other broadcasting networks to come forward and support us. Give me.
Danu, you got muted.
Sorry, I think something happened there. So things have changed in media that way. So right now we all have the power to create an influence, create a voice in our own mediums. Now, for example, there was a time when we try and see, okay, do you think we have 500 people watching, 10,000 people watching, 100,000 people watching? This was something that we need to really challenge to see how much a show is being rated for. But right now, when we actually put a picture or an IGTV video or even a link on our Facebook, we tend to know immediately and so transparently what is the reach we are having and how many people we have directly penetrated with the information, which is it's remarkable over the fact that we are getting the message across to them directly. So here are the few things that I have always maintained in terms of what I like to deliver in media. I've always delivered the fact that media has to be transparent and very authentic. Transparent and authenticity does not only belong to a topic or a network or even a company that's recruiting you to make this as a presenter or as a voice or as a face. It also depends on you. For example, if I am somebody else, when I speak to someone, it tends to reflect wrongly on my job over the fact that I'm here to be transparent. I'm here to be very vulnerable so that you can actually see who I am for real when I have a conversation with you. It could be your language, it could be your mistakes, it could be your society, it could be your culture, it could be your environment, your family background. All of that has to be a transparent thing. For example, if I'm speaking to a doctor, and if I'm going to be speaking to a doctor from a doctor's point of view, I've ignored the whole people who are going to sit and watch the show or watch that interview. Because as a doctor, you want to be interviewed by someone who is as lost and clueless as you and I are. If we have to do an interview on COVID-19 today, we are not going to ask, oh, so this vaccine contains this. No, we want to know, okay, what does this vaccine have? How does COVID happen? What is the development of COVID? Because we want it to be something that you and I will actually ask a doctor, and not something that we will want another doctor to ask, because in that case there's no reason why you need to be there. So this is just an example. So always be very transparent and always show who you are in your conversations. For example, if it is your lifestyle, if it is your culture, for people to know who I am over the years, it's not that I sat down and told my story every day, but it's in the questions that I asked that people were able to chain a story to my life. And that's a real story. If my radio show was based on my travel disasters from Piliandala to Colombo with my little car that I was driving at that time, because it was just a commuting error. I have always had problems, and people really understood the fact that, oh, okay, so he also goes through the traffic problems just like us. So he also runs late just like us. So it's as easy as that when you're honest. Give me
Danu, again, you got muted.
I'm sorry, because I'm sweating buckets. I had to like take a minute to wipe myself. All right, so this is the fundamental of media, I will say, authenticity, real, opinionated in a genuine way, and also someone who wants to understand the value of another person's emotion. For example, tell you something that happened today. Now I have my show Danu Innasithamby, which is supposed to come out tomorrow. And my guest was nervous about the fact that, okay, the show, would it be controversial? Would I be portrayed right? And so we have to respect that emotion enough to speak to her or him and be like, listen, this is what we hope to do. This is what we have done. You want to take a look at it? Because at the end of the day, media or any platforms that we use on media cannot be run individually. It's a very collective medium. So you have to depend on each other in terms of how you put your emotions and how you put your topics across. If you do take the talk shows that I host, I have hosted an array of talk shows. It could be from people who have done interesting topics to people who have been HIV positive, to people who have been positive about their sexuality, to people who have been marginalized in society. So I have spoken to all types and all sorts of people. And the reason why I have spoken to all of them is the fact that it's very important for the wider community of humans to understand that we are in a collective environment, and that environment is what makes us who we are. So I've always believed that we need to showcase authenticity. So that's all I could say over and over again. Be authentic in media. Now I understand that you all have a project where you are submitting something for to create awareness. If Zainab, if you can give me some information on that, if you don't mind.
So we're trying to create awareness in terms of, we're trying to strengthen the queer media narrative in Sri Lanka right now. And by doing so, we're trying to strengthen the current voices that are emerging in the community, especially these young change makers that are our fellows right now. So essentially, we're trying to strengthen their voices as well, which have been allies in the past, as well as had queer content in their content, or are just amazing producers of media right now. So we're just trying to introduce some sensitization, as well as maybe introduce how, like what you would be doing through this session, is creating their brand and voice. So we're just trying to give them this understanding through that as well.
Yeah. So when you do topics, thank you, Zainab. When you do topics which are environmentally or society-wise is a bit sensitive, when you say the word queer, you are like, how many people are going to approach it in the right way? Are they going to see it as, because we need to understand the fact that people are so quick to comment. People are so quick to pass the most nastiest comments on social media. And it's so easy because it's just literally 3 seconds of typing. So how do we yet get the message across? So something we need to understand is whether we are accommodating how the environment is reacting to us, and yet putting our voice in a very solid and a meaningful way. You cannot be stubborn when it comes to putting out a message out there. Your message has to be approachable and acceptable by all, but yet it has to be a very strong message so that it goes into everyone's mindset. Whenever I have tackled sensitive topics, I've also understood there might be 90% of the people who will be very willing to listen to that person. There'll also be 10% of people who will be like, oh, what is this conversation? I really don't want to be a part of it, because it could be their social upbringing, it could be their society, it could be their lifestyle. They have not been exposed to that way of thinking. So at that time, we need to always understand that there are two sides to it, and we need to make sure that we give them the chance to be both. We need to accept the wrong and accept the right, and accept the accepting, and also accept the ones who are not accepting. Now that is in terms of what I wanted to speak about in terms of how we can approach a topic and how we can talk about a topic when we are in terms of doing a TV show. I want to speak about building a brand. It's something that Zainab wanted me to touch on. Building a brand is a very interesting process. Always remember, if your brand is built in one night, your brand is not something that's going to stay. It's a very simple policy. It has been proven over and over again, and it has been the case for me. Number one, I always believe that, sometimes you can force people to like your page, you can force people to like interact with you on social media. But remember, even if you have 200 followers or 200 people who follow what you do, if there are people who are benefiting from your content, they will really miss your content when you're gone. So building a brand is building a brand that goes with your personality. For example, I can give you one of the topics that are still being discussed in like media classes, and especially when I do topic lectures on this, I do bring it up. There's an oldies radio station that was advertising a degree program for teenagers. And I was very confused as to, just because a station is number one, it doesn't give you the target audience that you are looking out for. So if you're going to go only on ratings, you have really missed out on the quality of the people who you want. Sometimes quantity does not matter. So your brand has to be a gradual growing brand. Your first video might completely go viral, or it might not even be seen by 100 people. It could be a podcast, it could be a video, it could be whatever. But it's the consistency of your content is what matters. If your content is consistent, if people have something to follow and come back to every month, every day, every other day, it gives them a chance to connect with you and build your brand. So your brand has to be something that grows gradually with people. It's a constant progress. And also always remember, your brand cannot change today and tomorrow. This is how I was when I was 16. This is how I am when I'm 30 odd. It's how I'm going to be when I am 50 as well, hopefully. But I always try to be who I am. I am scared of other things. I am paranoid about so many other things. Be transparent. Your content has to always be the same. If you are not good at something, that has to be exposed so that your brand grows on those strengths. I'm an ugly laugh, and I've let my brand be based on an ugly laugh. There's going to be 50% of the people who might think that's a terrible bloody laugh to be on media, but at the same time, there's going to be another set of people who might think, oh, that's a nice laugh, that's how I laugh. So it's always good to sort of bring out both those viewpoints to keep it going. Now, is there any way that we can do like a very Q&A based kind of a thing?
Yeah, of course, Danu. We can definitely make it that way. We could even like
Okay.
anyone. Okay, so any fellows who want to pose some questions out, maybe could you raise your hands or maybe directly put it on the group as well to address it to everyone, and then we could tackle them one by one as well while Danu just continues with his session right now. So Danu, you brought about amazing points on how to create an organic presence in this way. I would love to know what was your first project? How did you tackle that? And how did you become the force to be reckoned with that is now Danu, a household name in that way?
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. But actually, going back 6 years ago, I think is when I launched WTF. One, the word WTF itself was controversial over the fact that, oh, what is he trying to do? Is he trying to promote profanity? No, it was WTF, what was to promote everything local, which is what to find, where to find, who to find, and when to find. And now that was the first time that I ever thought of doing it. And at that time, there was no IGTV. If you do remember, Instagram had videos, no videos, they only had photographs. But the reason why I thought of this video content, this photograph content, was to promote everything local. And also at that time, although TV was still ruling in certain ways, people were losing more and more time. And I wanted people to have a quick look at something in a fast-paced world. And that was my thinking. And that's how WTF started. It was for us to condense the topic and give them the most important information fast. So for those who are enthusiastic about media who are here, I will tell you a quick way to approach a topic. For example, if your topic is about, let's say, Princess Diana's death, and if you go about saying, hi guys, so in 1997, Princess Diana was going, you have lost your people, because the reason is everyone knows that part of the story. Everyone knows that Princess Diana died in 97. Everyone knows that she met with a car crash in France. What is your story in that story? Your story could be Princess Diana. Okay, the new development of the story could be the fact that she had a note in her hand when she died, example. So your story has to start with that. I'm just giving this as an example, but in any topic that you do, it has to start with the most attention-seeking statement at the start. So it will be, after 30 odd years, we found a note in Princess Diana's hand. Something like that. So that there we create that enthusiasm in your topic. Then you go into Princess Diana died in 97, blah, blah, blah. Then you come back to that heading again, or that penetrating story over the like that. So, and sources reveal that she had a note crushed in her hand. That is what connects your attention to your storyline. It's very, very important. So that even when we do radio, we always say the hook point, or if it is something that we do on like articles or videos, I always say, okay, today on the show, I'm going to be speaking to someone who got sacked when he got recruited. So you are curious, you want to know what it is. It's not a news headline, but it's more of a hook, the hook that will eventually be spoken about. But you can't tell the hook. Like where people go wrong today is if you do take these scandalous, terrible music videos, they objectify human body, or like they will show a part of a cleavage like this, and then after that you watch the whole video, it has nothing to do with the cleavage. It is about some, I don't know, some a woman walking in the park somewhere. But it's for the clickbait. That is something we should really stop from doing, because once or twice your audience might watch it, third time they'll be like, this is just stupid, this is just a lie, I'm not going to go for it. So you really don't want people to lose faith in who you are as a media person. So that's something for you to keep in mind as well. So you need to understand that it tends to catch up and people create this reason of thinking, oh, this person is just lying, or this person is just here to create a trend of having like, okay, 60,000 views in like 1 hour and just bugger off from here. So you don't want to create that. So that's something for you to keep in mind. And I will tell you an example of when I did 2 topics on WTF. Hold on a second, guys. So 2 stories that I did on WTF became very controversial. Number one is the dressing as the bride, the Tamil bride, which went completely viral. People did speak good, bad, and terribly ugly things about it. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to be authentic about it as well and be very real about how we did this show. We wanted to say, to dress as a bride, it takes approximately 4 to 5 hours. Especially as a Tamil bride, it takes a longer time period because of so many things that needs to go on. So we wanted to show the process of how long it takes and what is the process of it. So we had to go through with it and we had to do it. And it was interesting over the fact that, of course, there was terrible comments that came along, but it still made people understand, oh my God, that's a lot of work that goes into it. And for people who are in a different culture, I was able to sort of bring it out. And it's always good for me to experience it so that I can write it without me writing about something that somebody else experienced. So it's always good to bring out your experiences through media. And the second thing that got a lot of negative plus a positive reaction was when WTF covered the gay pride bus drive, or like the city tour. Which was very well and not so well accomplished in terms of how people reacted to it. Although I really enjoyed doing it, it was so much of fun. We saw Colombo, like I saw Colombo from a higher elevation, and I met some wonderful people. But people didn't see that. They're like, oh, we are giving publicity to things that we should not. But what we tend to understand is the fact that although people take the time to comment, that means people have seen it and people have been a part of that. So you have achieved your goal in creating awareness or penetrating the internet zone with the information that really needs to go through. All right, so I've got some questions here. This is a very good question. Natalie. Hi, Natalie here. So what's the difference between the hook in the story and a clickbait? Okay, where do you draw the line? Okay, so the hook in the story is something that is legit there in the video, or that's legit there in the content. If you do have that content, go for it. You have to not twist the words. For example, if I say, okay, Danu got sacked for putting up the video about the gay pride bus drive. That's just sad over the fact that it's like not right. But if I do say on the same lines, if I do say something more smarter but yet thought-provoking, it can create a better reaction. But we need to understand that the hook is very important because the market is so cluttered today. If you don't put out a good conversation or a good topic that are going to drive people to click it, you're going to lose your content. But we should also not forget the fact that we don't want people to be completely thrown off. of the content, so that they are going to be like, what's the relevance between this and this? So that's something that we need to go. So the hook is when you keep your topic relevant on your thumbnail, or when you keep them relevant on your hook line. And the click is when you put things which have no connection, but yet the fact that it's just an interesting way for you to get somebody to watch you. This is what I have believed in, and this is what I have practiced so far. So
I think Mohammed Shamlan has put his hand up.
okay. Is he going to unmute and speak, or?
I'll just ask him. So
You guys can understand what I'm saying, no?
Yeah. So he sent the question straight to me. Hi, Zainab, a question for Danu. How do we be transparent about going about narrating the political and religious view on matters, because it's very sensitive?
Okay, so something that I try and do is the fact that as somebody who is in media, or somebody who sits at the point of creating content which could be media related, you should always believe that you take a very neutral stand, and you keep it very neutral, but yet interesting, yet very conversational, yet very engaging. That's the most important thing when it comes to media. I will tell you, not from the lines of politics, but this is equally political. Recently, the whole Mrs. Sri Lanka crowning situation, and then, as I have always done, I've interviewed people who are the winners, and I've I think Caroline is a very dear person to me as well. But yet I did interview Pushpika as she won the Mrs. Sri Lanka title, and she was in the news. And news is the fact that we have to unfortunately create content which people like to hear and ask questions that people want to know. When I did the interview, it was, oh my God, Danu is being biased. So you need to understand, people may say things, but as long as your conscience are clear with the fact that you didn't interview her because you were getting some personal gain. You interviewed her because it was going to be conversation that is in the topic, and people want to know that side of the story, and questions that people can't ask because they can't approach them to ask them, and they don't have a medium, whereas you have a medium, so you have to ask the questions that people want to ask. So make sure that if it is political, if it is religious, you take a very neutral state and you ask the question from a very neutral point of view. If it is politics, and if you want to ask about something that is very controversial, okay, when do you think to legalize this topic? When do you want to make sure that you have to ask it from a point of view where you are being not emotionally driven. For example, if your religious point of views, your party interest, your political interest should not come across. Just because I support to another person who can be like, so why did this party do this? No, it's like, so what has your party done to eradicate this? So what do you do? So you have to always make sure that you choose your words right, so that people know that you're taking a very neutral stand. It's a very thin line, but you need to make sure that you stand in the middle perfectly, so that you don't ruin your name in this equation. Hey, Danu, can we also slightly stray into? Is that you?
And
Okay. Okay, I got your message. All right. So building a brand is what you want me to speak more about.
Yeah, Danu, I would love to understand, because what we're trying to do here is ready the fellows to create a brand and a platform, and to harness their voice right now, because we're all at the infancy stages of creating on their media journey. And we would love to take examples from your experience as well as your expertise on the matter, so that they could create that, because at the end of this fellowship, they do have to fill out a couple of documents where they have to be much more concise in what their voice is, what their brand is, and to come to that understanding.
Okay.
What is my voice? I would like, an expert such as yourself to take them through that, like how you would approach it and how you would be able to advise them on that.
Right. I will just answer Minoli's question as well. Hey, Danu, I have a small question for you. Working on social media, how do you curate content in order to expand our reach more? Audience such as elder and children. So there's always, okay, this also can go with the whole brand perspective. Okay, consider yourself a product. So it's easier for you to understand. If you do take a product, your product will have a target audience, a lifestyle, brand affiliations, and everything that sort of comes with your package. For example, if you take me, you have to understand this is your brand, and that brand is your core at any given time. So your brand, the core is who you are, what your beliefs are, what your personality is, how you want to be accepted, remembered, loved, pursued, all of that as authentic as possible. Not being so much that you don't have a personal life. I'm saying being authentic about who you are. And those things is what develops a brand. If it's not you that's a brand and you are creating a brand, then you have to make sure that you give your brand all the meat that it needs. For example, it's just like how we do acting. So if I'm going to act as Romeo, I need to figure out what does Romeo like to eat, what time does he like to sleep? Is he someone who likes the cold weather? Is he someone who likes the hot weather? Is he someone who secretly wanted to not fall in love with Juliet? You need to come up with all of these storylines for your brand so that your brand is sustained. For example, when they, let's say, when they take Danu tomorrow, if I have to change my brand and give them a shock appeal, it has to still fall into my brand framework. Good example is from a mile apart, you will know the difference between a La Signor Lahiru song to an Iraj song, because they've created their brands in very different formats. So you have to understand what is your format. Anyone will know what a gypsy song is, because that is their, like they always try to give a social message to their baila. So you have to create a framework for your brand. Your framework is your homework, because that is a framework that will guide you throughout in terms of this media journey. Because it could be your topics that you, for example, I will never go and speak about sports tomorrow because it's not my forte and I just don't know it. And if I have to interview someone who's sport, I'm going to ask some questions from a Danu point of view, like, so hold on, what exactly happens on the field? So how many people play? Because I'm going to be very strange to the game because it's not my strength. So if I have to interview a sports person, maybe I'm very good in coming to know who they are, like personally what they are. So I'll ask them, okay, what inspired them to be in sport? How do they plan their future? What do they think about the sports industry in Sri Lanka? So those could be my question about the more human angle to it, not exactly about the sports technicality. So you need to understand what does your framework or your brand framework falls under. All of you would have come up with, let's say, a content to talk about. Each of your content will be different. Your viewpoint, your personality, your lifestyle, your brand framework will define how that is going to go through. It is just like how when we see a Highland kiri packet, we know it's Highland. And when we see an Anchor kiri packet, we know it's Anchor. Because Highland kiri packet looks very simply carved and just printed on top of plastic, whereas Highland looks more civilized and very packed and very square. And so you have to understand what you want to be. And that is what defines your brand name. And that is what creates that brand identity. So make sure that you always create that awareness through your brand. And it has to start with your first video to your last video. It's your first talk show to your last talk show. It's your first radio show to your last. It's your first article to your last article. It has to sustain itself. And that's the most important thing in creating a brand, and a brand that is sustained, so that you become a brand identity. Guys?
Hey, Danu. So, sorry,
Yeah.
I was on. So another fellow had sent me a message for a question. He wanted to ask you, how can we simplify our brand identity and how can we test brand perception? All very good questions, actually.
Repeat the question for me again, please.
I'm so sorry. So how can we simplify our brand identity and how can we test our brand perception?
How you
Start with the first one. How
test
can
your
we simplify brand identity?
okay. Both sort of go hand in hand. Well, I will say everyone has an opinion about someone's brand. You have to always improve your brand, but you can't change your brand because this brand is very personal. This is how you were born. This is what defines who you are. You can't just tomorrow I can't wear a sari and sit to do date with Danu just because somebody said Danu might look better in a sari. Perspectives of other people's could change, but it's your brand delivery has to always be okay. You need to understand what the pulse is around you, but you can't also change and become somebody else just because somebody is asking you to. So to see the vibe of your brand, approach a topic in your capabilities, in your capacity, in a few ways, or a message in a few different ways. See what goes through. If you take Ellen, she has used comedy as a platform to create awareness. If you take Oprah, she used talk and emotional topics and personal experiences to develop her brand. If you take people like Jimmy Fallon, he has used music to get his message across. So you have to find what is your delivery point, but do not change who you are. That is the most important thing. Testing how your brand is being accepted in the public is something that comes with trial and error. People will hate you, people will like you, people will adore you, people will get used to you. All of that is there. But with time, your brand will grow as long as you're consistent and authentic. As I say, authenticity is what matters, because people don't want to say, okay, yeah, they should not say that. That is what's important. Why do we tend to lose faith in politics? Because they tend to go back on what they say and we forget the fact that they are being authentic, or the fact that they promise something and they don't deliver. You can't do that, because when you promise something, you deliver means who you are is what you promise them, and you need to deliver who you are every day. And that's what's important.
Sanjay, I think you've had your hand up. I would actually like to recommend that all fellows who'd want to ask questions, not direct message, but actually participate in the conversation, so we can all kind of break this bridge between all of us and kind of like make this an informal session and ask Danu questions. I mean, you're not going to get 2 hours with Danu unless you're going to be watching TV. Sanjay, please go ahead.
Danu, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Danu, මට දැනගන්න ඕන කාරණේ තමයි දැන් අපිට කුඩා කණ්ඩායම් වලට හරි තනි පුද්ගලයන්ට හරි සෝෂල් මීඩියා එක ඇතුලේ ලේසියෙන් බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් නිර්මාණය කරගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි මේ තනි පුද්ගලයෙකු විදියට විශේෂයෙන්ම බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් නිර්මාණය කරගන්නකොට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට සෝෂල් මීඩියා එක තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ, නැත්නම් ඩිජිටල් මීඩියා එක. දැන් මේන් ස්ට්‍රීම් මීඩියා එකට ගියන් පස්සේ එකක් සමහරුන්ට අමාරුයි මේ ඩිජිටල් මීඩියා එක ඇති කරගන්න බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක සෝෂල් මේ මේන් ස්ට්‍රීම් මීඩියා එකට අරන් යන්න. අපි සෝෂල් මීඩියා ඇතුලේ නිර්මාණය කරගන්න බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් මීඩියා එකට අරන් යනකොට කොහොමද අරන් යන්නේ, සහ එහිදී මේන් ස්ට්‍රීම් මීඩියා එකට ඒ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක අරන් යනකොට මොන වගේ දේවල් ගැනද අපි අවධානය යොමු කරන්න ඕන?
I lost a part of your question.
දරු එකක් තමයි මට දැනගන්න ඕන, ඩිජිටල් මීඩියා එක ඇතුලේ නිර්මාණය කරගන්න බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් අපි මේන් ස්ට්‍රීම් මීඩියා එකට අරන් යන්නේ කොහොමද? සහ එහෙම ඩිජිටල් මීඩියා එක ඇතුළේ ක්‍රියේට් කරගන්න බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් මේන්ස්ට්‍රීම් මීඩියා එකට අරන් යනකොට අපි මොන වගේ දේවල් ගැනද හිතන්න ඕන?
Okay, so digital media කියන්න දේ දැන් අපිට rules and regulations ගත්තොත් අපිට digital media එකේ තියෙන flexibility එක නෑ mainstream media එකට. ඒක තමයි ඇත්ත කතාව. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් mainstream media එකේ අපිට දැන් මට කියන්න බෑ I want to have sex with you කියලා අවුරුදු 10කට ඉස්සර කියන්න බැරි දෙයක් තිබ්බා. හැබැයි අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් penetration. Like we can't say the word penis, but we can't say the word dick, but we can say okay his male organs. So ඒ වගේ හිතලා පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි දැන් තියෙන culture එක, දැන් තියෙන society එක ওই වගේ වචන වල පාවිච්චි කරාම ඒ message එක හරියට ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරියට යන්නේ නැහැ. So mainstream media එකේ තියෙන එකම ප්‍රශ්න ඕක. Digital to social media platforms to digital YouTube, Instagram, Facebook ඒ ඔක්කොම අස්සේ තියෙන content එක ඔයා mainstream එකට ගෙනියන්නකොට ඔයා බලන්න ඕනේ ලංකාව lifestyle, people, religious point of view, political point of view, ethnicity ඔක්කොමට හරියන්න විදියට ඔය content එක තියනවාද කියලා. ඒක තමයි වටින්නේ. දැන් කියමුකෝ අපි social media එක ගත්තොත් මට දාන්න පුළුවන් show එකක්. Okay, I want to do a show about accepting transgender example. ඒකේ බලන්න කට්ටිය වෙන්න පුළුවන් who are supportive of this community, who likes the community, who likes to dress up, who likes drag makeup maybe, who ඒ වගේ අපිට categorize කරන්න ඕන. මේ වගේ කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා parents who have transgender children. Like ඒ වගේ we come to know okay this is the maximum amount of people we can target. So ඒ කට්ටිය බලයි ආස වෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය ඒක forward කරගෙන යයි. Whereas when it is mainstream media, it is something that is reaching the country. So that means everyone has no choice but to see it, even if they have to switch it off. ඒගොල්ට ඒ chance එක නෑ ඒක යනවා ඒ මොහොතේ. ඒගොල්ට ඒක අතල්ලා යන්න බෑ. So we have to be socially sensitive. ඒ වගේ topic එකක් එතනට ගන්නකොට අපි කතා කරන්න ඕනේ. Okay, let's introduce you to something called the transgender community. So you have to understand that your approach has to be different because here you have a follower base. Now mama කිව්වොත් මට අද නිකන් සුදු බක් කන්න ඕනේ කියලා වගේ තියෙනවා නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ කිය අපිට හැමදාම කන්න ආසයිනේ. එතකොට කනවා වූ. ඒක මගේ followers ලට දන්නවා. හැබැයි මම දැන් රටටම කියනකොට I can't say අත මට සුදු බක් කන්න ඕනේ නෑ. I should say as a Sri Lankan, I've always loved eating rice, and that's why today I want to specifically eat white rice. A veneser, you need to understand that you are taking a condensed, very streamlined content to a very broad, very different mindset of people. That's the only thing. So have a transition or a content එක කරනවා නම් ඔය දෙපැත්තටම හිතලා content එක කරනවා නම් හොඳයි. Was I able to give you an answer in that? Yeah? Okay. Shriyal.
Hi, Danu.
Hi.
I'm not sure if you responded to this because I'm coming in a little late, but so as a person who identifies as queer and sort of have your own voice, for those who are trying to sort of build a name for themselves as a queer person or telling queer stories, how do you sort of navigate with the negative comments as well as people trying to sort of bring you down based on your queer identity or the queerness of your content? How have you done it in your personal sort of experience, and what can we look out for?
So in terms of negative comments, it's going to be there even if it is queer content or straight content or even if it's a content about a flower. Because cyber issues have been there and will always be there because people have the freedom to write whatever they want and they seem to take the best out of it. I think it doesn't need to be, back in the days, it was looking at something and saying, oh, that person looks ugly, oh, that person looks stupid. But now you not only say it, you tend to like put it out there openly. Queer content or any content, people will have two opinions on it. And I think the only way to maneuver it is to understand that although we have come 40%, 50% forward in terms of the way we think and the way the country approaches these type of situations, we also need to understand we still have people who are very alien to this topic and people who are very much not comfortable and do not want to speak about it openly. But being sensitive and mindful about that when you create the content is very important. And that's the only way you can, one, educate them, because you don't want to be so aggressive that people do not want to see your content. You still want the message to go. That's the most fundamental important part here. You want the message to be accepted. So end of the day, there are other things in humanity that works. Just to let you know, there are 5 things in media that really works. Make go to the please 5 things. You can never go wrong with this. That is, hot topic is one thing, sport is one thing. Those two are just the secondary level. Other things are heart, health, sex, money. When I say heart, it goes with health as well. Sex and money is the other 2 things. So heart is any topic that is emotional. If you want to take a queer story, find an emotional string to it. It could be, okay, how that person has struggled to achieve what they have achieved. Even being queer, if the world has rejected them, how they have sort of merged out of it and still made it to where they are today. You bring out a positive vibe in the conversation that will be heart-oriented. Second approach to it is money. You could use, okay, I'm just using this as an example. Please don't get offended or get upset about anything. Okay, being queer, I earned 50 million US dollars in 3 days. Example. There you get the attention of a person because they still want to know, okay, how did this person achieve 50,000 US dollars? Because that is something that goes with any type of our people. Straight, bi, gay, dark, black, white, Buddhist, Sinhala, Catholic, Tamil, Hindu, Malay, even an atheist wants to know, how did you make the money? So money is another capturing point. Third is sex. Sex is something people don't want to tell you, but they still want to know what it is all about. You can say, being queer gives you the best sex. Example. That topic will go further over the fact that there's the word sex in it. It creates that, like there's that thing in our body that creates a chemical reaction to know what it is all about. The other 2 things is a hot topic. Hot topic is, for example, like Sabita's husband falling on the road was hot topic. Everyone wanted to know what happened to him. Everyone wanted to share the CCTV video. Everyone wanted to know whether he's okay. Everyone wanted to know whether he's at ICU, because that's hot topic, because it's Sabita's husband. Other one is sports. Sports is because we are Sri Lankans and we want to know what's happening with cricket. But the 3 topics are universal. It can be used in any part of the world. Those 3 always work. Heart, health. Not heart and health. Anything that gives you. So while you on Facebook up to now, the most viewed videos are videos about cats. Why? It is something that makes us feel good. It's heart. It's healthy for us. It's like, oh, so it works. So that is heart. Next is wealth. Third is sex. These are the 3 universal topics that will reach to anyone. So if it is, now I gave you how you can manipulate that one topic into 3 different viewpoints and still take it out. Hello?
Hi, Danu. I think Ahsan Aftar had a question. He started talking and then muted himself.
I'm sorry. Ashan Aftar. Yeah, tell me.
ஹலோ தனு.
ஹாய்.
ஹாய். நான் உங்களை மீட் பண்ணுறதுல சரியான மாதிரி சந்தோஷம். நான் உங்களோட ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் நான் வந்து கண்டினியூஸாக நான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறேன்.
தேங்க்யூ.
தமிழ் தானே பேசுனா?
நீங்க வடிவக்காய்ங்க தமிழ்.
ஓகே. என்னுடைய ஒரு கொஸ்டின் என்னன்னு சொன்னால், நாங்கள் ஒரு கண்டென்ட் வந்து கிரியேட் பண்ணுற நேரம் வந்து ஒரு கண்டென்ட்டோ ஆர்டிகளோ ஏதாவது போட்ட நேரம் வந்து அது எல்ஜிபிடி கியூ கம்யூனிட்டி சம்மந்தப்பட்டதாக இருந்தேன்னு சொன்னால் ஆக்களோட ஒரு மைண்ட்லேயே இருக்கும் என்னன்னு சொன்னால் இது சம்மந்தமானது, நாங்கள் கிளிக் பண்ணாமல் அப்படியே ஸ்கிப் பண்ணி போயிடுவோம் அப்படின்ற ஒரு மைண்ட் செட்டில் தான் அந்த கண்டென்ட்டை வந்து பார்ப்பாங்க. இப்படியே பார்த்தாலும் இது என்ன அதில் என்ன எழுதிருக்குன்றத அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு அதை பார்க்கறதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணவே மாட்டாங்க, ஸ்கிப் பண்ணிட்டு போயிடுவாங்க. அப்போ நாங்கள் எழுதுறதுல வந்து ஒரு 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 மிச்சம் ஆடியன்ஸை வந்து அது ரீச் பண்ணாதுன்ற ஒரு நிலைமை வந்து இருக்குது. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி அந்த மைண்ட் செட்டில் உள்ளவங்களுக்கு ஒரு கண்டென்ட்டை நாங்கள் கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நினைக்கிற நேரம் அவங்கள எப்படி ரீச் பண்ணுறது? இந்த மாதிரி மைண்ட் செட்டில் உள்ளவங்களை அவங்க கிளிக் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க, அவங்களை கிளிக் பண்ண வைக்கிற மாதிரியான கண்டென்ட்டை கிரியேட் பண்ணுறது வந்து எப்படி சாத்தியமாய்க்கும் அப்படின்றது என்னுடைய கேள்வி.
ஒன்று வந்து நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சிருக்கணும், நீங்க எழுதுற டாபிக்ல இருக்கு அதை எப்படி நீங்க வந்து ஒரு சமுதாயத்துக்கு பார்க்காம எல்லா பேருக்கும் வாசிக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு விதத்துல இருக்குதான். இப்ப நான் வந்து எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்கு சொன்னேன்டா, நான் வந்து நாயில பற்றி எழுதுனேன்டா பூனையில் ஆசைப்படுறார்கள் அது வாசிக்க மாட்டேன், உண்மைதானே? பட் நாங்க வந்து வீட்டுல நாங்க வளர்க்குற மிருகத்துலதான் இருக்கு எங்களோட வாழ்க்கையை பற்றின்னு நான் ஒரு டாபிக் போட்டேன்டா, நான் வீட்டுல இருக்கிற என்ன மிருகத்தை பற்றியும் நான் வந்து என்ன கதைக்கிற கதைக்கிறத பற்றி பார்க்கறதுக்கு அதை ஆசைப்படுவேன். ரெண்டாவது, இந்த டாபிக் வந்து என்ன நாட்டுக்கு வந்து சில நேரம் ரகசியமா விருப்பமா இருந்தா வாசிக்கிறதுக்கு, அதை வாசிக்கலன்னு சொல்றாக்கள் கூட. சோ அந்த ஒரு சமுதாயம் இருக்கு இந்த நாட்டுல. நீங்க வந்து என்ன யோசிக்கணும்னா, சில நேரம் அவை வாசிப்பிடம் வாசிச்ச மாதிரி கதைக்க மாட்டணும். நீங்க ரெண்டாவது இன்னமும் நீங்க மனதில் வச்சிருக்கணும், இத ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் செய்து கொண்டு வாரனிடம் தான் முதல் தரம் பார்க்காம போனால் ரெண்டாம் தரம் ஏன் திருப்பி இருக்கு ரெண்டாவது பார்ப்போம், திருப்பி ஒரு கதை மிக்ஸ் பண்ணால் என்ன ஒரு நாள் பார்க்கலாம். அந்த கன்சிஸ்டன்சி, அதாவது நீங்க செய்து கொண்டு போற அளவுக்கு தான் அதுல ஒரு பிராண்ட் ஒன்று டீல் பண்ணப்படும். எல்லாத்தையும் பார்க்கறதுக்கு ஒரு ஆள் இருக்கணும், அதை திருப்பி திருப்பி செய்யத்தான் அந்த ஒரு ஆள் பார்க்க தோணுது.
தேங்க்யூ.
சரியா?
சரி, கொஞ்சம் திருப்தி ஆகிது.
நீங்க வந்து டாபிக்ஸ் எழுதுற நேரம் யோசித்தீங்க எல்லா பேருக்கும் எப்படி பொதுவா அந்த மெசேஜ போற அளவு போறதோட அந்த உங்களுக்கு வேணும நாட்களுக்கு அந்த டாபிக் வந்து எல்லா பேருக்கும் போகுதான்னு பாக்குறதுக்கு நீங்க வந்து ஒன்று எல்லா பேருக்கும் சேர்த்து போற மாதிரி எழுதுற நேரம் உங்களுக்கு எல்லா பேரையும் நீங்க அதுல டார்கெட் பண்ணலாம்.
ட்ரை பண்றேன் மேக்ஸிமம். தேங்க்யூ.
I don't know why, but my room is so hot and I'm just sweating backwards. ඒ සයික්ලෝන් කොයි ගියාද මන් දන්නේ මේ පැත්තට හුලඟ මොනවද Hello. Any more questions, guys? If you all will tell me specific problems that you all face, then I can give you all answers to it in my best possible way.
No, I think there's a person, Yashoda, has her hand up.
I can't see Yashoda.
Yashoda, go ahead.
Hi. Am I audible?
Hi. Yeah.
Hello everyone. විශේෂයෙන්ම මම ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දකිනවා මේ මීඩියා තුලින් තවත් කෙනෙක්ට ඩිස්ක්‍රිමිනේට් කරන. එහෙම නැත්නම් හියුමිලිනේට් කරන ගමන් තමයි මොනවා හරි මැසේජ් එකක් මේ ඩිලිවර් කරන්න හදන්නේ. දැන් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි LGBTIQ වගේ ප්‍රජාවක් ඇඩ්‍රස් කරනකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඩිග්නිටි එකට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ වැලියුස් වලට හානි නොකර අපි කොහොමද අනිත් කට්ටියට මේගොල්ලෝ ගැන දැනුවත් කරන්නේ? ඒකට අර එතිකල් පැත්ත ගැන චුට්ටක් කියන්න පුළුවන්ද අපි කොහොමද එහෙම ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න කියලා?
හරි දැන් වෙන විදියට ඕන එක්කෙනෙක් අපි ඉන්ටර්වියු කරන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ ගැන ලියනකොට අපි ඒගොල්ලෝ ගාව තියෙන රෙස්පෙක්ට් එක ඒ තත්වය ගැනම තියාගන්න ඕනේ. ප්‍රෙසිඩන්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන් අය ඉන්ටර්වියු කරන්න නැත්නම් පාරේ ඉන්න එක්කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි දෙන්නම ඒ මොහොතේ ඉන්නකොට අපි එයාත් එක්ක කතා කරන්නේ එයා එක්ක එයා ගාව තියෙන knowledge එක අපිට ගන්න, එයා ගාව තියෙන information ටික අපි share කරගන්න. So එයාට අපි දෙන්න ඕනේ ඒ respect එකම තමයි. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අපි හිතන්න ඕනේ ඒ නෙගටිව් පැත්තට කට්ටිය බලන්න එකත් අපි පොසිටිව් පැත්තට කතා කරනකොට අනිත් කට්ටිය හිතනවා මේක හරි මේක සියලු දෙයක් අපිට මේ කතා කරන විදිහට අපිටත් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් ගොඩක් කට්ටිය හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ වෙන දෙයක් කියනනේ. දැන් මම අවුරුදු දෙකට ඉස්සර මම රංගපෑවුවා ස්ක්‍රිප්ට් එකක් HIV ගැන. ඒකේ තියෙන විස්තර ගැනයි. ඒකෙනයි මමත් ගොඩක් දේවල් ඉගෙන ගත්තා. ඒ කියන්නේ මම ඉගෙන ගත්ත නැති දේවල් ගැන මම තව දේවල් ඉගෙන ගත්තා. දැන් ඒ තත්ත්වය අපි පෙන්නුවේ කොළඹ 7 කොළඹ 3 ඉන්න මිනිසුන්ට. අපි හිතුවේ ඔය කට්ටිය කොළඹ ඉස්කෝල වලට ගිහලා ඉන්ටර්නෙට් අපේ ගාම තියෙන හින්දා ඒගොල්ලෝ මේවා ඔක්කොම ඒගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රෝති නෑ. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලොත් මගෙන් ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වා ඇත්තට මේක මේ වෙනවද? So ඒ කියන්නේ ලෝකෙට තාම දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද අපි මේ කරන්න යන්නේ කියලා. ඩිස්ක්‍රිමිනේෂන් කියන්නේ ඒ කට්ටියට දන්නේ නැති හින්දා තමයි ඔය ඩිස්ක්‍රිමිනේෂන් එක එන්නේ. අපි ඒක නෝමල් කියලා කතා කරන්න තරමට ඒ කට්ටියත් හිතයි මේක හරි නෝමල් දෙයක් කියලා. So අපි බලන්න ඕනේ මේකේ ඒ හරි තැන දීලා කතා කරොත් හරි විදියට ඒ මෙසේජ් එක අනිවාර්යෙන් අද නෙමෙයි තව අවුරුදු 2කින් හරි normal විදියට අපිට කතා කරගන්න පුළුවන්.
Thank you, Dan.
No problem.
Keshani, I think she has a hand.
Hello, Danu. நீங்க
Hi
வந்து
Keshani.
கேக்குதா நான் கதைக்கிறது?
சொல்லுங்க.
நீங்க வந்து முன்னுக்கு சொன்ன நேரம் சொன்னீங்க மெயின் ஸ்ட்ரீம் மீடியா வந்து அந்த கூருணர்வான விஷயங்களை போறது கொஞ்சம் யோசிக்கிறாங்க, அதால தான் அந்த இப்படியான விஷயங்களை ஆட் பண்றது இல்லைன்னு. ஆனால் கூடவா வந்து இந்த ஸ்டீரியோ டைப். ஹலோ
சொல்லுங்க.
விளங்குதா? இப்ப நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா மெயின் ஸ்ட்ரீம் மீடியா தான் அந்த ஸ்டீரியோ டைப் இதுகளை வந்து கூடவா ப்ரமோட் பண்றாங்க. உதாரணத்துக்கு மகளிருக்கான பக்கம் என்று போட்டு ஒரு சமையல் குறிப்பு எழுதுறது அல்லது வந்து வீட்டு வேலை செய்யறது இப்படி என்று சொல்லி அவங்க தான் அந்த ஒரு ஜெண்டரோட உருவாக்குறாங்க, இப்படித்தான் இருக்க வேணும்னு சொல்லி. அப்ப இதை உடைக்கிறதுக்காக நிறைய ஒர்க் ஷாப் நடந்து கொண்டு இருக்குது. ஆனா நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா மெயின் ஸ்ட்ரீம்ல இருக்கிற எடிட்டரோ அல்லது அந்த யார் அந்த டிசிஷன் மேக்கிங் பாயிண்ட்ல இருக்கிறாங்களோ அவங்க வர்றது இல்லை இப்படியான ஒர்க் ஷாப்புகள் ட்ரைனிங்களுக்கு. அப்ப நான் நினைக்கிறேன் அவங்களுக்கு இப்படியான விஷயங்கள் உட்புகுத்தப்படாதது அல்லது இது சம்பந்தமான பயிற்சி வழங்கப்படாம தான் அவங்க தொடர்ந்தும் இப்படியான விஷயங்களை கொண்டு போறதுக்கு காரணம் உண்டு. நீங்க நினைக்கிறீங்களா ஏதாவது ஒரு வழி இருக்குது இவங்களெல்லாம் ஒன்றிணைச்சு நாங்க இது சம்பந்தமான விழிப்புணர்வுகளை இப்படி மெயின் ஸ்ட்ரீம்ல இருக்கிற முக்கியமான ஆட்களுக்கு சொல்றதுக்கு?
எனக்கு விளங்குது நீங்க என்ன சொல்றீங்கன்னு. நான் நினைக்கிறேன் இந்த விழிப்புணர்வு கணக்க மாறி இருக்கு. ரெண்டாவும் சில தலைமுறைகள் இன்னும் அந்த பழைய விதத்துல யோசிக்கிறார்கள் என்ன இருக்கணும். அதுக்கு மாத்துறது 2-3 நாள்ல நடக்காது. ஏனெண்டா இது எல்லாத்தையும் நான் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு உதாரணம் சொன்னேன்டா, 3 நாளைக்கு முதல் நான் டிவி பார்த்து கொண்டிருந்தேன். நான் அதுல ஒரு கமர்ஷியல் வந்து காட்டுது, இலங்கையில செய்யற ஒரு கமர்ஷியல் தான். ஹஸ்பண்ட் அங்க ஹாலுக்கு இருந்து நியூஸ் பேப்பர் பாக்குற, மகன் வந்து கிரிக்கெட் விளையாடுற, வைஃப் சமைச்சு கொண்டு வரா. அந்த அது வந்து நான் நினைக்கிறேன் கொழும்புல இருக்கிற ஒரு வீட்டுலயும் நடக்குதுண்டு இன்னைக்கு. பிகாஸ் அப்படியான வாழ்க்கை மாறி எவ்வளவோ இது தாண்டி வந்துட்டோம். பட் அப்படி இருந்தாலும் சில பேரை யோசிக்கிறது, அதுல ஒரு பெண்ணை போட்டாதான் அந்த சமைக்கிற இடத்துல வடிவா இருக்குமெண்டு. பட் அது வந்து அது ஒரு ப்ரோசஸ். அது மாத்திரக்கு இன்றைக்கு நாளைக்கு கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம்தான். பட் வெகு தூரத்துல மாறும். என்னண்டா இப்ப என்ன மாதிரியான ஆட்கள் எனக்கும் பிறகு வந்தாக்கள் எல்லாரும் யோசிக்கிற விதம் எனக்கு வித்தியாசம். அவை அதை யோசிக்கிற விதத்தை கட்டாயம் மாத்துவிடும். மாத்துற நேரம் தன்ன விதத்துல மாறும். ஒரு நம்பிக்கையில நான் சொல்லலாம். எனக்கு ஒரு விட சொல்றதுக்கு ஒரு வாய்ப்பு இல்லாம இருக்கு. சரியா?
Yes, thank you, Danu.
Sorry, it's just so hard to give an answer to that. තාම අම්මා තමයි කෑමුවාගෙන ගෙනියන්නේ පුතා සෙල්ලම් කරන්න තැනට කියලා තමයි කමර්ෂල්ස් කරන්නේ.
I think Tarusha has his hand up.
Yeah, hi. Do you think it's better to reply to the criticism that you get as a means to educate, or just ignore it in general?
You can, right. So this is a battle that is still going on, I think. Sorry, hold on. Okay, that's a very interesting question. I think it's a battle still going on whether we should respond to comments that are painful and harmful, or should we just let it go. It's a decision that needs to be taken individually by the person. Give me a second. Hello. Sorry guys, there's some delivery coming and that man is just, I think, lost in clouds. So I had to answer that. It is confusing because, I think it's an individual decision. Listen, I did a video on cyberbullying. It's coming out on the 31st. It's painful what I tend to read and what I tend to see. It really cripples you, and sometimes you wonder, do these people even sleep at night? One person even threatened to put acid on my face. It's that bad. So it is a constant issue. Today I went on one of my videos because the comment was tagged, and that's why I got the notification. So in that it said, people like this should be stripped naked and hammered on the road in Sinhalese. So I thought to myself, are these fantasies or things that people want to do to you? It's just quite scary. So I do not comment, and I will say, if it is especially a topic about LGBTQ, if it is something that is very sensitive, replying on the points of positivity can annoy them and still get the message across. So try and be positive about it. I think it's the most perfect woman or man in this world will still be criticized. If we look at Priyanka Chopra and think, wow, she's amazing, there are 7,000 people who are saying, oh my God, she's fake, she's stupid, she's terrible, she's fat, she's ugly. So you can't change that. It's going to be everyone's drama. And it's just like, I don't know, how do you stop commenting? I put a picture of me speaking about Vesak and somebody has said, Muge Borua. So it's just going to be a constant thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry about the inconvenience caused. I didn't want my groceries to go to some other person's house. Mali. Guys, there are 2 questions pending. Minoli.
Hi, Danu. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
So I would like to know a bit about your own journey, how your content has evolved with the time that you have been on social media and other media as well. And because we are also trying to create this journey on social media and would really like some pointers on establishing a brand and how we can evolve with this brand as content creators.
Thank you, Vinodi. I think over the years, I've got stronger and I've got more braver in my opinions. And also this fact where we tend to believe that lots of things used to cripple me those days because we are all just humans. And when we are so exposed day in and day out, because it's not like a movie, it's television, it's real, it's happening today, and people tend to see who you are. And everyone has an opinion and a viewpoint about you. So you don't want that to change because who you are and what they see you as is totally different. So you really don't want that to change you. So you tend to grow. I think I have grown strong over the years to accept the good and ignore the bad and still continue doing what you want to do. In terms of the digital space, do not do it for the followers, do not do it for the likes, do not do it for the shares, because you might have a good day and you might have a terrible day. And you can't force people to like your content. It has to be an organic thing. So as long as you're doing it from your heart and you're doing it to portray who you are, it will come out beautifully and you will have your set of followers. I always say there are 5 morning shows in English that happen every day from 6 to 10. All 5 have presenters, all 5 have sponsors, all 5 have listeners. So all of us will get our listeners, followers, sharers, and also people who will enjoy our content. So we can't kill 4 radio stations to be the only radio station. We can only try and be the best radio station so that we will still provide something better than the other 4. So it's simple as that. So just go ahead and do what you're doing. Find your voice, who you are. If you're someone who likes to keep your head up, your hair up every day, if you're the girl who likes to wear crew neck t-shirts, I'm just looking at you, do it. Just be yourself, because people will love that. They'll be like, oh my God, she looks so comfortable. I want to be like her. So that's how you create your voice. I just love to annoy myself by dressing too much. So I love to go through that pain. So you can choose what you like to do.
Thank you so much, Danu.
No worries. All the very best. There's also Mohammed Shamain.
Yeah, Mohammed Shamlan. Hi, Danu. Thank you for
Shamlan.
Yeah, and thank the facilitators. Thanks. And my question is about criticism that you were speaking about. And if I were to do a YouTube commentary channel, and if I were to criticize some trending topic and interject my message within it, and would that be ethically right, or how would I go about doing that?
Two viewpoints. If you're Sanat Jayasuriya, you can make a comment about somebody playing cricket in some way, because he's an expert at it and he has proved himself to be an expert. But if I go and say, I will become really unpopular because I have never played cricket. So if you're going to do an interject video to give your viewpoint, it has to be something that you're good at. For example, there are makeup experts who will do on, oh, that's terrible. Like there is beauty doctor who does things on these people who apply lime on their face with day, and they're like, my skin topic you need to understand whether you are an expert in that. It could be any topic. If you're an expert, go for it. Because if not, people are going to think that one of those. That is where the problem comes. So if not, you could always do, like, for example, if somebody has told you, if there's no electricity, put a potato in your power socket, then electricity will come. Try it and say and be like, make a run. That can be something that you can do, because you are just like the other people trying to try that. But if you are going to say that, if you're going to do a review point in something that you're not so good at, it might be a problem. It might.
The reason I asked that, because trending topics tend to do well from a marketing point of view. It's so
correct.
Yeah, that's why.
Now, for example, what you can do is report the trending topic. Now, for example, Mrs. World crowning was one of the biggest trending topics that we had. Like, it went global. You can't say what is right and wrong there, because you and I are not pageant holders, no? But we can say, oh my God, what happened? You can narrate the story. And you can also leave in questions saying, okay, mama hitanna vidiyata me kawuna kara meyata dunnada දැන් කවුද දෙනලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ confusion එක වාට යන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔක්කොමලාට පුළුවන් වාට comment එකක් දාන්න.
Yeah, to open a dialogue. Yeah.
Correct. You can be someone who creates a dialogue, but not give an opinion. ඔතනවා ගියලා කිව්වොත් චූලා හරි, පුෂ්පිකා හරි, කැරලයින් හරි කියලා ඔයාට බැනුම් අහන්න වෙයි 3 categories.
Thank you. That was helpful.
No problem. Do tech videos. Hi, who is this?
Danu, என்னுடைய கேள்வி என்னன்னு சொன்னா, இப்போ நாங்கள் வந்து இப்ப டிஜிட்டல் பிளாட்ஃபார்ம், முக்கியமா வந்து சோஷியல் மீடியா
with regard to the digital platform,
இப்ப அநேகமா வந்து ஒரு 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 விஷயத்தை நாங்க நகைச்சுவையா பேசும்போது அது முன்னாடியே
try to present a thing, speak a thing in a humorous way, but it reaches the people quickly.
எல்லா விஷயத்தையும் நாங்க நகைச்சுவையா பேச முடியாது.
But it's impossible for us to present everything in a humorous way, funny way. So
இப்போ ஒரு
there are
உதாரணமாக
serious
நாங்க
issues to be dealt with in
LGBTQI
a
society
serious,
பத்தி
for
நாங்க
instance,
பேசுறதா
the
பெருசா
topic
விஷயம்.
of LGBT.
அது நகைச்சுவையாக நாங்க சொல்ல முடியாது. அது வந்து நாங்கள் கட்டாயம்
So
சீரியஸா
it is impossible for us to present it in a
ஆனால்
humorous way.
நகைச்சுவையா பேசுற
We have to
விஷயம்
deal
வந்து
with it
ட்ரெண்ட் ஆகி
seriously.
ரொம்ப சீக்கிரமாவே ட்ரெண்ட் ஆகிருது. அப்படி இல்லாட்டி
But
நிறைய
when
பேர்
we present it in a humorous way, it
நாங்கள்
becomes
சீரியஸாக
the
பேச
trend
வேண்டிய
very
முக்கியமான
quickly.
சம்பவங்கள்
But
பேசும்போது அது
when
மக்கள்
it
வந்து
comes to serious topics,
சென்றடைகிறது
when
இல்லை.
we present them
இதை நாங்கள்
seriously,
எப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்ணலாம்?
it's a
உங்களுடைய
problem.
ஐடியா.
How can we handle it? How can we handle this problem? In any topic, the way of deliveries must be interesting. You must make it the way of delivery interesting. For instance, when, for instance, Shal comes in my show. He came, the Shal came on my show to talk about the status, how the person was accepted. But I was able to bring to some degree of some level of humor in that. The topic you are given, you get it is passionate. For instance, planting trees. You would like to talk about it openly. It's good for the environment and things like that. But 50% the people are not able to understand 50%. But when you present it in a attractive way, for instance, you can say. So when you have so you can say you can say that when there are no trees, it's impossible. It's bad. It's difficult for us to go and take shadow. So like coating a bitter tablet with a sugar cover, sweet cover, நீங்கள் அது கொஞ்சம் நகைச்சுவையுடன் கொடுத்தால் சுவாரஸ்யமா இருக்கும்.
அந்த இடத்துக்கு அந்த ஹியூமரை கொண்டு போற நேரம்
when you take it to that, when you take that humor to that level,
மூன்று விதத்துல யோசிக்கிறது நல்லது.
So it's good to think in 3 different ways. That's my viewpoint. It's rather difficult. It's difficult, but you should trace it. You should try to get it. Thank you, Nandri. வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
I think Karin.
Hi, Danu. Hi. I
Hi,
have 2
Tarindi.
questions actually. So, when I usually do my activism online or anything online, I have received like threats from people, like really bad threats sometimes. And most of what I do is I either ignore them or I block them. There have been people saying that, oh, we are going to kill you. And there have been like lots of men, especially being like, like threats of rape and things like that. And it will correct you and all of these things. So what I usually do is I block them or I block them. But is that the approach that we should be taking, or should we be reporting these so that they don't do the same to other people? And my second question is, when we talk about a lot of LGBT related issues, since a lot of these conversations come from European Western countries, they do have the terminology for it. They do know how to properly converse about it and like give out their idea across properly. But we don't have a lot of technical terms or terminology. So it's a lot of explaining, a lot of detailing. Like, for example, if I say, this is an androgynous person, there's no direct translation to that in Sinhala and stuff. So how would you go about in a more easier way when giving out these topics?
Question 1. Don't block. Take action on it. If it is really detrimental, put a police entry for your safety. Go to the cyberbullying division to create awareness about it. But keeping those comments transparent also allows another generation to see what type of low-minded people are there. So that eventually the good will cripple the bad. So you have to let it be there. My opinion. If it is really painful, take it down. But I know it can really break you, because I went through 4 weeks ago. I think I was so heartbroken after that interview went up of Pushpika and people just, and it was just so painful. But I didn't. What can I do? So you can either go and report it to the cyberbullying, to the cyber division, or leave it there so that people know that, you know, this person is just using this as a weapon to just attack. But always do what's right by your mental sanity. That's the most important, because if you fall, the amazing work that you hope to do will not be accomplished. So that's something for you to keep in mind. Number 2, you need to still understand we are Sri Lanka. Even when we say LGBTQ, how many people understand that today? A very small handful of people. Still, they love to use the words ponne, fancy, Tamil, it is ombodu. It's just sad. But we need to, unfortunately, go with the flow, explain it in broader perspective so that people will understand the words. Like there was a time in the US that people used things like faggot. They use things like puffy. And you don't need to go so further in life. If you do watch the documentary of Halston, you'll understand. If you do watch the movie, which was inspired by a true story, Holding a Man, you'll understand. These were terminologies that were used in the 70s, 80s. They have evolved. Sri Lanka in the 70s and 80s kept all the lights off. So we are now living our 70s and 80s. So we will eventually get there. But it's a process. It's a timeline that we have to sit through. So if we have to explain it in length, go for it. At least your children will not need to explain it in length.
වානේ ඉදිරි පරම්පරාව ඔබේ දරුවන්ටවත් මේක ගැන අවබෝධයක් ඇති වේවි මේ පද පිළිබඳව.
Manivanan, is your hand up because you want to still ask a question? Because I think your hand is up. I think we only have a time for like a few more questions. Anyone else who'd like? Isuru Girshan, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
ඔයා මියුට් කරලා ඉන්නේ.
sorry Danu, අපි මේ content එකක් හරි news එකක් හරි ඒ වගේ දෙයක් අපි report කරනකොට
When we report a news or a content, or when we present them, sometimes if we do it continuously, it may be annoying for certain parties. I have that experience. When we share a content continuously, maybe around 3 times a week, sometimes the reach in the first content is higher, and sometimes in the third one it's different. Some say that they don't have time to watch. So is it a problem to share continuously at a stretch, or how are we to select time in your platform, Facebook or whatever? You have to select or decide on timing. For example, if you take myself, I maybe 5:30 in the morning, and on a Friday or Thursday 5:30 in the evening, as per my channels and depending on my audience and their likes, we can decide on the proper timing. And when you adjust this timing, it will be easy for you to share the content. And also
පොඩ්ඩක් එපා වෙයි මිනිස්සුන්ට. ඔය පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක වෙනස් කරන්න, වෙන විදියට හිතන්න. hammer episode එක වෙන look
you can think new in a fresh manner, and you can use a different approach or something like that.
Any questions, guys?
I think Minoli had a question. Her hand went up and down.
Hi, Danu. I want for you. So what I want to ask is, now I'm a person who has many passions in life. Now I also bake, and I'm looking into a bit about animals and animal welfare, and also women's rights, child protection, all of those things. So how do we use a single platform, such as what I have, Instagram, Yellow Dot, and put forward all of these, when we have so many things going on, how do you streamline it and put forward Yellow Dot to be one voice for most of our topics like child protection, women's rights, LGBTQIA plus rights, those sort of things? How do we put it forward in one voice?
Okay, so this is an advice that somebody gave me, and it's very important. What is your core is what you need to answer. Your core is your most important thing. My core is entertainment and media. What I do using it is something that goes around. I promote fashion, I cook, I speak about abuse, I speak about, but it's all surrounding my framework of who I am. So your core needs to be established as time goes. For example, I'm just going to build a character for you based on this. Just say I'm an easygoing, cool girl with a phone in my hand. Example. My passions are, let's say, rights for children, cooking, and this thing. Try to create what is that one thing that you want to be known for. Are you someone who is known voice for children's abuse? Are you going to be known for LGBTQ work, or somebody who is going to be known for food? The minute you create your main voice, it's very easy to connect your other dots to that main thing, because then people associate you through that. For example, Fazul Hamid does work with children. He does work with, he has done work with abandoned people who have been like neglected. He does fashion grooming for men, blah, 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 the list goes on. But we all know he's known for Hamidia. So you need to find your Hamidia. Keisha Gomez is acting in a teledrama, but we know who Keisha Gomez is. He was the youngest CEO of our country. So you have to create that core. The minute you create your core, then it's very easy, because everything else just complements your core. So you need to sit and figure out your core. If you don't mind, how old are you?
25. No, I'm 26 now. Sorry.
You have time to find your core, don't worry. So just find your core, and it's easy from there. I promise you.
Thank you so much, Danu.
No worries.
Thank you so much. Natalie, I think your hand is up as well. Go ahead, Natalie. You can ask your question.
Yeah, hang on. Just putting my video on. Hi, Danu. So is it possible to take us through what goes into making a talk show, what the roles are of different people, just so that there's kind of an understanding of how it happens?
What do I look into when I do a talk show?
Yeah, what kind of goes into producing, like, say, a single talk show? what are the roles involved? I know there's a cameraman, I know there's a producer, I know there's a presenter, but like, what else goes into the process?
Okay, so how I work is a bit quite not the correct way of. And by the way, Natalie, I'm seeing you for a long time. Hi.
Yes.
What was I going to say? So I am not the type who likes to read and like jot down books of information about somebody and be like, okay, because my interview style is very based on human aspect to it. So I try to bring out, first you need to make sure that your guest is comfortable and your guest does not feel like they are not worthy of being there. Whoever it is, I have interviewed all types of people and I love it because it gives me such a chance to get into somebody else's life and come to know more about them. Like I want to know things like what they eat and what time they want to go to poop, and I want to know everything because it is what a talk show is about. It is about coming to know that person in the most authentic, real way. If I'm going to sit with Umaria and ask her, oh, tell me, you pitch that G minor so beautifully, what was the technical arrangement to it? It'll be so annoying. Everyone knows that girl can sing. She can sing a dictionary out of its style. But what you really want to know is how does she like, how is she when she wakes up in the morning? Is she annoying? Is she happy? Is she a people person? What does she like to eat? Those are the things that connects a talk show from being a show to being an experience with that person. So I've always enjoyed coming to know something more from that person. It has always worked for me because I always feel that people are very in a position where if they come for a talk show, they need to forget that they're on TV and they need to just talk openly and casually and also make your mistakes. It's more fun that way. Like I have actually thought somebody adopted a child when not adopted a child. So I was like, so when did this adoption happen? And they were like, adoption happened. So I have had these mistakes, but you have to own up to it. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I really thought you adopted this child. But it's fun. Then it becomes more funny, then it becomes more conversational, then they correct you. And it has to be that real conversation with somebody. Then it's fun.
Thank you.
No worries. Have I answered all questions? I think I have.
I think if there are no more questions on this part, we're actually nearing the end of the session today. Thank you so much, Danu, for everything, all
No
the
worries.
you have imparted on us. I really love the discourse of conversation that we all went through, talking about authentic content and talking about going not just from the story, mainstream story we see, but rather all that we pay attention to the details, the nuances to deliver a story. So really appreciate the golden nuggets of wisdom passed on. Thank you so much. Fellows, if you do have any more questions on this matter, please do send me an email with any and all of your questions. I will forward it accordingly to the panelists. Thank you so much.
And you can always DM me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Straight away, DM Danu.
Yeah. I respond as much as I can.
Thank you so much, Danu. Thank you so much, fellows. Thank you so much, FPSL team, for being here. I think I'm going to see all of you again in another hour. So I hope all of y'all eat some good lunch, and I'll get back to you all soon.
I just want to say a big thank you for inviting me. It has been amazing talking to everyone. I shall see you all soon and keep doing the amazing work that you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
See you guys.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Danu. Thank you.
Thank you.